Playing with gadgets is often more fun with friends and fellow hobbyists. The annual Quartzfest Ham Convention in Quartzsite, Arizona is one of my favorite ways to do just that. Hi, and welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews and how-tos on a variety of electronic gadgets that catch my eye. In this video, we're going to go a bit off topic in that we'll be talking about a quick video tour of the 2023 Quartzfest Ham Convention. This event has been going on for over 20 years, and it's held at the Roadrunner Campground about 5 miles south of Quartzsite, Arizona. The event normally overlaps with the Quartzsite Big Tent RV show in January. This year it was January 22nd through the 28th. As you'll see in the video clips that follow, the Roadrunner Campground is just a big, first-come, first-served patch of hundreds of acres of dry, flat desert. Hams from all over the country come out and stake out some territory in the Quartzfest corner of the desert and set up their campers or tents, along with their radios and antennas, to enjoy playing radio and attending presentations on both ham and non-ham topics. This year was a little on the chilly side, with a couple of mornings dipping down into the high 20s. 2 days were particularly blustery, with winds gusting up to about 40 miles an hour. Otherwise, it was a pretty typical week in the Arizona desert. I'm fortunate enough to camp with several folks who adopted me into their group a couple of years ago. We set up our camp with a central gathering place, and we each take turns providing an evening meal one day during the event. Food is seldom an issue in our group, with leftovers and potluck lunches being common. One particularly windy morning, I hosted a biscuit and gravy breakfast in my RV. My outdoor camp kitchen with a camp stove and Blackstone grill got a good workout. Well, here's I-10 heading west. It's Saturday morning about 9 o'clock, and it's pretty busy heading out of Phoenix, headed to Quartzsite. Here we are coming down the hill, headed into Quartzsite. Many of those small little white dots you see in the distance are RVs camping in the Quartzsite area. So here's our exit. Time to get off the road, and then we'll be making a left turn back over the interstate. If you turn right, there's another main road that will take you into town. We're going to the left to avoid the traffic. Quartzsite is unusual in that there are 2 main exits, but neither of them take you to the main intersection, which is US 95. Here we're heading west on Coon Street. It takes us to Highway 95 without the traffic found on the north side of the interstate. So we've made our left turn, and now it's just 5 miles south to La Paz Road. It's easy to find as it has a right turn lane. As you can see, it gets pretty busy around the Big Tent and RV show. So here's La Paz Road and the right turn lane. We'll make that turn and go right into the campground. I'm going to enter right here and head up to the park host. As you can see, it's just right after the turn from US 95. I'm all registered. The park host said he's been checking in about 65 campers a day for the last few days. We're headed for the flags a few hundred yards ahead. Here's the main intersection for the Quartzfest activities. Here's the welcome tent, and across the road to the right are a couple of the main presentation areas. I see my camping mates just ahead, so it's about time to get the camp set up.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Is everybody here?
The opening session was Sunday afternoon with lots of campers already
How
on
many
site.
of you, this is your first time at Quartzfest? My goodness, look at all those hands. Welcome! Well, I want to welcome you to Quartzfest 2023. This is day one. Of course, opening ceremony usually is day one. My name is Chris, KR1SS. Quartzfest Committee. Gordo, can you come up here? Marilyn? Yeah. Is Tracy here? Tracy?
Thought you could hide, huh?
Russell?
I tried to hide in the back.
Come on up, Russell. Gary? Without this group, Quartzfest couldn't happen. They're my Quartzfest committee. Gary does all of our audio visual. He's got amateur television out here televising this right now on channel 58. 58 cable. So if you turn your TV to cable and do a search for channel 58 is where we'll pop up. Russell is our musician. Russell heads up our Hootenanny Thursday evening. And this year, for the first time, we're going to try music around the campfire starting Monday night, I believe. Is that right, Tracy? Yeah, Monday. First thing we have to raffle off.
There were raffle
Dolphin
prizes drawn at
UV5R
the end
handheld,
and
dual
at
bed
each of the
handheld.
daily happy hour gatherings that closed out the day's activities.
And that will go to raffle ticket 870.
Daily sunsets were spectacular, as were the sunrises. As mentioned earlier, things were a bit blustery and chilly a couple of days, but hardy campers were still out and about attending the presentations. The day's activities were posted on the bulletin board at the welcome tent. There was a Quartzfest net each morning on the camp's frequency that reviewed the weather forecast and the activities for each day. Presentations included both ham and RV topics. I attended Gordon West's presentation on VHF tropospheric ducting, as well as an RV presentation on Onan generators.
Let it sit. After a while, you're going to find that that layer will begin to appear, and tropospheric ducting is going to happen. Now, for those of you that had a chance to pick up some of the literature, when we do tropospheric ducting,
I got my camp kitchen set up next to my RV, as well as my radios and antennas. Our camping mate Mike had a homemade version of the popular DX Commander behind his trailer and a screwdriver mount on the rear bumper. Stu had an end-fed antenna suspended by a long extension pole. The special events station was just across the road from us. Those folks had a large tower erected and several radios in a very comfortable trailer radio shack. As you can see, the buddy heater was glowing as it was pretty chilly most mornings. Both Mike's and my antenna were part of the antenna walkabout. There was also a solar walkabout. Both events were to allow folks to see others' antenna or solar setups for camping use.
Antennas, guy over there built.
Tuesday proved much calmer, and it was time for a trip to town for both the big tent show and lunch at the adult daycare outdoor bar on the showgrounds.
The big sound of that. Talk about 20 people, okay? I'll give you the price to see all of that. Come over here.
Here we are at our campsite on Wednesday morning. It was a little chilly this morning as the overnight lows got down to about 28 degrees. There are quite a few campers on the other side of the road. Here's our group. Here's my Class C, Jerry and Amy's Class C, and Stu's Class A. Inside our little compound, we have cooking all set up, a gathering of tables for meals, and each of us are responsible for an evening meal for the group. Our solo stove fire pit is an every night gathering place.
Way downtown, fooling around, they took me to the jail.
Well, happy hour day for Quartzfest 2023. You made it this far. Our attendance so far is 524.
Daily happy hour gatherings like this one had news, schedule announcements, and of course, raffles. Jerry and Amy brought over a dozen little 2-meter APRS game devices that they built and passed out for those who wanted to play. They spent much of Sunday mapping out a grid of the campsite and then added resources such as monsters and other fantasy elements to the game. The game ran off a server in their RV which received APRS signals from the devices and triggered voice prompts letting the player know if he or she was near a resource or a monster. It was certainly a hit.
It's basically like a choose-your-own-adventure game, and it's using APRS. So if you put it into game mode on the transceiver, you can actually hit the button and send your location. It'll tell you if you're near a monster or some loot that you have to pick up, and you can make choices as to whether or not you want to try to fight the monster or flee the area or try to give it something from your inventory. There's some humor in it as well, so hopefully those of you that want to pick one up from us later and you start playing the game, you'll get some amusement out of that. It's free. So yeah, we have about 15 of them. You can meet us over by the sign-in booth after this. I hard-coded it so we can actually press the button once and you can have an encounter in front of everybody.
Player to AI6CU. AI6CU. As you make your way through the thick underbrush, you hear a loud, rumbling noise ahead. You cautiously move closer, your hand on your sword, ready for anything. As you emerge from the trees, you are confronted by a massive creature. It is a clay golem, standing at least 10 feet tall, with glowing red eyes that seem to bore into your soul. The creature's body is made entirely of clay.
Anyway, meet us over there. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, we can tell you more. It's been nice. This is the first prototype. We definitely anticipate that we're going to make the next iteration and bring them back with us to Quartzfest next year. So if folks want to play next year, we'll have more badges that go around, and those of you that do have badges, bring them back with you next year. They'll still be good for the game next year.
Oh. Yeah, it was really wonderful. Earlier today we saw an entire family, 2 young folks got their technician license, technician, and They were running around camp using their new license to hunt monsters and level up.
So tomorrow, if anybody is interested, I'm going to lead an expedition up Cunningham Mountain, which is up somewhere over there. So we're going to be doing a hike. It's kind of a strenuous hike. We travel down the highway here for a few miles to Powerline Road, and then we'll activate up there. You need 4 contacts on your radio to score the 4 points that Mount Cunningham is for SOTA, if you've ever done SOTA. And fortunately here it's pretty easy to do because there's a lot of folks in camp here that we can pretty much see from up there, let alone talk to on the radio.
Thursday's off-road ride had a bunch of participants who enjoyed an off-road trip through the desert sites around Quartzsite. Since this is an ARRL sanctioned event, regional ARRL leaders were also present and shared information on things impacting the league.
Way responsible for, and that's we put $150,000 in this year's budget for the league to support conventions.
Near the end of the week, the winds died down enough to launch a weather balloon. As you can see, it has a number of data packages hanging below it, and it went almost to the west end of Phoenix from Quartzsite. This, of course, was before all the balloon nonsense earlier this year.
Does that have some lift or what? Yeah,
As the week wrapped up, the closing ceremony included awards for the distance challenge, recognition of those who passed their ham licensing tests, and lots of prizes and the dates for next year's event. I hope you enjoyed this brief overview of the Quartzfest 2023 Ham Convention. Quartzfest 2024 starts Sunday, January 21st, 2024. As always, if you found this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button below the video and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. 73, and thanks for watching.